How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about my favorite press secretary there's been, and that is Kayleigh McEnany wrecking the mainstream media live in the White House. Now, there's been this whole question about Obamagate. What is Obamagate? Can you define it? Can you use it in a sentence? All this, that, and the third. Now, a reporter decided to ask Ms. McEnany about Obamagate and to get a little bit of her opinion about what's going on and can she define it. And she most certainly did that for him in epic fashion. Now, what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and roll that clip. In this clip, you'll see the reporter's question. You'll see her answer. After we get done with that, I'll talk about what she said. I'll give you my 2 cents, my deep detail analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Partnership of this government and the private sector. Yes.
Switching gears for just a moment, also in his interview with Maria Bartiromo the other day, the president suggested that people should be jailed for what he said earlier in the week was a very obvious crime. You're an attorney and the president's spokesperson. Perhaps you could lay out the elements of this crime. What crime was committed and in what way?
I assume you're referring to the Obama administration and the unmasking and...
The president calls Obamagate. What is it? What are the elements of that crime?
Yeah, I'm really glad you asked because there hasn't been a lot of journalistic curiosity on this front, and I'm very glad that you asked this question. Look, there were a number of questions raised by the actions of the Obama administration. The Steele dossier, funded by the Democratic National Committee, the opposition political party to the president, was used to attain FISA warrants to listen in on conversations of people within the Trump campaign. There was the unmasking the identity of Michael Flynn, and we know that in a January 5th meeting in the Oval Office with President Obama, Sally Yates from the Department of Justice learned about the unmasking, not from the Department of Justice or from the FBI. She learned about it from President Obama and was stunned and could barely process what she was hearing at the time because she was stunned of his knowledge of that. We know that there was a lot of wrongdoing in the case of Michael Flynn. The FBI notes, for instance, that said, should we quote, get him to lie as they pontificated their strategy. We know that the identity of this 3-decade general was leaked to the press, a criminal leak to the press of his identity in violation of his Fourth Amendment rights. Yep. These are very serious questions. They've been ignored by the media for far too long, and I'm very glad that I think that is the second question that I have fielded on Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, because justice does matter. Those questions, they matter.
To be clear, I heard you mention one thing you said was criminal, and that was what?
The one thing that I've said that was criminal? Right. The leaking of his name and the very real questions that have been raised. But if you want to start talking about wrongdoing in the administration, happy to go through Andy McCabe leaking to the Wall Street Journal and then lying about it. Happy to talk about James Clapper lying before Congress, saying the NSA does not monitor phone calls. That was an inaccuracy, to say the least, if not a lie. And John Brennan telling Congress that the bogus Steele dossier played no role in the Russia probe, when in fact we know it did and was the basis of attaining FISA warrants. So there's a lot of mistruths there that were said, many of them under oath. So I would point you to those and the many other real questions that I hope you all will pursue.
So the president's view that those people should be jailed, the people you just mentioned?
I never said that. Those are your words, not mine. But perhaps you should look into it and get me some answers. That is, after all, the job. That is, after all, the job of reporters, to answer the very questions that I've laid out, and I hope you guys will take the time to do it. And
roasted.
And I also find it interesting, if we want to start talking about fabrication of crimes, we can litigate that case pretty publicly with James Clapper, who said what President Trump did with Russia pales, that Watergate paled in comparison. We can talk about Eric Swalwell lying and saying President Trump was working on behalf of the Russians. We can talk about Hakeem Jeffries lying and saying the president was a Russian asset. We can talk about Schiff saying there was ample evidence of collusion in plain sight when in fact there was not. We can talk about Mark Warner saying there's enormous amounts of evidence of collusion. We can talk about a CNN historian who said there was a smell of treason in the Trump-Russia probe when in fact for 3 years, you all talked about collusion, and there was none. And it was a huge injustice, not just to this administration, but to the American people who deserve truth, not the alleging of absolutely false allegations against this president.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, before I even get into it, I got to say bravo to Kayleigh McEnany. She handled that very well, very calm, cool, collected, no cussing, no fussing. She laid out all the facts with a big smile on her face. So shout out to her. I was watching Twitter, reading some of the comments under the video that I saw from her that I played to you in the video. People were trying to attack her for being prepared. It's like, excuse me, maybe you should be prepared before you speak in front of a microphone and to the entire world, before you ask questions, before you say certain things. You want to make sure you're factually correct. You got all your ducks in a row and you're good to go. Okay, maybe the mainstream media could take some points from Kayleigh McEnany and be prepared before they put out articles, before they give statements. Then maybe they'd be more respected than what they are right now. But I'll keep going. The whole Obamagate thing refers to all the scandals that happened under the Obama administration, many of them attacking Trump's campaign, Trump himself, and quite frankly, the American people, even if indirectly. All right. Now, if you listen to Barack Obama, he'll say that there were no scandals under his administration and everything was all good. And today, we're not even talking about Fast and Furious, telling Black Lives Matter while they're in the White House. You guys are doing a great job. We ain't talking about that. We're talking about some of the things that really affected the Trump campaign. The first thing would be the Steele dossier. This is the most obvious one. I mean, you got Hillary Clinton's campaign team reaching out to a UK agent, Christopher Steele, through a company called Fusion GPS that went out and contacted a Russian group to make up a story about Donald Trump hiring some Russian girls to pee in the bed in Moscow because Barack and Michelle Obama would sleep there when they're in Moscow. I mean, the most ridiculous, stupid thing was enough to have the FBI under Andy McCabe as deputy director and James Comey as the head director to grant a FISA warrant to wiretap the Trump Tower and spy on the Trump campaign. Okay. So that's got to be the biggest one right there. And we all know about it. There's documents, there's facts. This is not me making up stuff. This is what actually happened. I can find some documents and place that in the box if you want to read it for yourself. Okay. Then came the unmasking of Michael Flynn. He talking to Russian people about, I don't know, nothing really. He's a private citizen. He could do whatever he wants. So you're unmasking him, revealing his name to the media, putting it out criminally. And the reason why it's criminal is because if you unmask a person and it's used for political purposes, that is illegal. You can go to Gitmo and make big rocks into little rocks. Okay. So that is a really big scandal. Then you got Andy McCabe lying to the Wall Street Journal. That was crazy. And it didn't really seem to be a problem. Okay. You got Brennan lying to Congress. And that wasn't a problem. There was no, are we going to lock you up for perjury, all this and that. Now, I don't know if he was under oath or not, but it doesn't really matter because perjury is one of those things that you can just ignore or convict, really just depending upon your discretion, in my humble opinion, because lying should be some egregious thing if you get locked up for it and it's used against you, like it was used against Michael Flynn. All right. If lying's a big deal, then why not for Brennan? Why not for McCabe? Why not for all these guys? Okay. And then the whole Russia investigation that stemmed from the FISA warrant. You had all these politicos talking about, Donald Trump's done. There's a mountain of evidence against him when there was no evidence. Brennan lied about the dossier having any kind of role in granting the FISA warrant, which was used to go down this whole rabbit hole of wiretapping and then the investigation. You're wasting all kind of time, wasting money. You're violating people's rights. People getting locked up for no reason. Papadopoulos getting 8 days in the penitentiary, not jail where you should go for a short period of time. He went to the penitentiary, to prison for 8 days because, I don't know, perjury, stupid stuff. People got their lives ruined. People got ruined financially, socially, all of that because of a bunch of lies that stemmed from the Obama administration. Now, it's going to get found out that Barack Obama knew what was going on. So did Joe Biden. Okay. They all knew what was going on as it relates to Michael Flynn, and the unmasking. They knew what was going on as far as the wiretapping. Maybe they were even behind it. I'm not sure about them being behind it. But what Joe Biden did was lie, talking about, I didn't know about Michael Flynn being unmasked. But then he was unmasked as one of the unmaskers or a person that requested the unmasking to happen directly. Okay. All of that's going on. And ain't nobody really talking about it. All everybody's worried about is what Trump did wrong, what Trump didn't do, what he did do, all this, that, and the third. So as I close, I want to say this. Kayleigh McEnany did a great job explaining what Obamagate is. Everybody got all kind of questions. What is it? Can you use it in a sentence? Give me the original root definition, the Latin definition of the words in the actual phrase. They want to know all of that rather than the actual facts of the case. In my humble opinion, now you got everything. Run till that, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that Kayleigh McEnany did a great job explaining what Obamagate is? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or did she not do a very good job? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. I'll tell you one thing as I close the reel this time. It's not a conspiracy theory. Everything I've said can be looked up. It's all facts. I'll place as many links as I can in the box so you can read it for yourself. Don't take it from me. Do your own research. Research John Brennan, Andy McCabe, James Comey, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Hakeem Jeffries. You know, research all these people and see what they said, see what they did. Christopher Steele as well, the Steele dossier, Hillary Clinton's campaign 2016. Research all that good stuff and tell me what you find if you think I'm telling a lie here. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.